Hey guys, it's Roderick, and I'm here with the review of Immortal X-Men number 15. So, this is kind of like our second part of the Fall of X. I'm doing it in parts because I think by every month we go, we should kind of get some progression as to what's going on in Fall of X. But I will have to say that Marvel really gooped us with this issue, right? So they pulled like a very old school trick with us with this issue. Because back in the 80s when I was collecting comic books, they used to kind of do, like I started off collecting Fantastic Four, the Avengers. I really didn't get the X-Men, till like maybe like, mid 80s or so, something like that. So what they used to do is they would give you a cover where the cover had nothing really to do with what the issue had going on, right? So you would like buy the issue, you're like a little kid, like, oh my God, it's gonna be like Thing versus Hulk. And either that event would be like the last panel of the page or really have nothing to do with the page, right? I remember they did that with like Secret Invasion, right? So they would like have the picture of Jean Grey on the cover and you think that she was really a Skrull or whatever, but she really had nothing to do with it. So here's our cover for Immortal X-Men number 15. And we have a Wolverine on the cover. So we're like, oh my God, what is this? Girl, it was a total goop. So let's just get into this issue because not a lot happened, but still, we did get the needle moving a little bit, right? So we start off with Selene, who is going and killing these soldiers who are about to go and invade Krakoa because as you recall from the last issue, Shaw is trying to exploit the resources of Krakoa and kind of like break it up into parts, right? But the problem is, the Orchid soldiers can't land on Krakoa because they're being mysteriously killed, right? So Selene and Shaw figure out that Xavier is on the island killing off the soldiers or using his telepathy and like, I guess telekinesis now that Xavier has to kind of ward off the soldiers. Now, in the dialogue box, we find out something very interesting, right? As the soldiers are about to get ready and do their next attack on Krakoa, they have anti-psionic helmets. And Shaw's like, if it's only Xavier, we can handle that. But Selene kind of says in the box that they don't know where the other mutants are either, right? Which is a very interesting plot point because they were all supposed to go to Mars with everyone else. So somehow we know that now Orchis does not know where the other 250,000 mutants are, right? Also, we find out that part of the reason that Selene has joined forces with Shaw is that she wants access to the external gate, right? Now, if you go back to remember, back at House of X, Power of X, there was a book called Excalibur. So this was with Betsy, Apocalypse, Richter, and Rogue, right? And Jubilee. And it was kind of like an old school Excalibur mixed, and it was kind of like the kind of magical realm. So one of the first storylines that happened in that book was that Apocalypse gathered a series of externals, magical externals, on Krakoa and sacrificed them against their will to create the external gate to Otherworld, right? So that's how the mutants were able to make it to Otherworld, is by the sacrifice that Apocalypse used by this magical spell and killing a series of externals. And Selene felt some sort of way about this, right? So she wants the access to the gate because she made a deal with Mother Righteous such that if she gets access to the gate, she can restore these dead externals who were sacrificed to create this gate. Now, what that means for the mutants' ability to travel between, Earth to Otherworld, we don't know. But this is what Selene stakes is in the situation, right? So she wants access to be able to go and, get to, resurrect her fellow Eternals. Shaw wants to exploit this, so this is why they're joining forces, right? So then we cut to the mutants, right? Who are traveling through the desert. We don't know which desert they are. So they're traveling, and we see this awesome display of power by Exodus, who is literally gathering the water molecules in the air to create water for the mutants, right? So we definitely see Exodus kind of playing this kind of like Moses character who's leading people to it. People are like, oh my God, it's a miracle. Destiny is here just for the one-liners, right? She's like, it's not that big of a deal. It's air droplets. He's telekinetic. Stop acting like, it's fish and loaves, right? But Hope is like, we got to give them something, right? So then, they're in the desert. They're like, okay, buddy, let's keep moving. So then they said, I don't know what this mutant's name is. He can fly, kind of like the bumblebee wings. He goes, and then he sees Wolverine attacking who we know is Mother Righteous, right? So immediately I was like, okay, here comes this bitch, right? Like, here comes Mother Righteous and all her shenanigans. So he comes back, oh my God, it's a Mr. Logan. And then, everybody shows up, and then Exodus, so all of a sudden 4 Logans pop up, right? So Exodus quickly makes short work for them, does like a fireworks display, pops the Logans, right? And then here comes Mother Righteous. And then literally she starts talking, and Destiny's like, oh my God, that accent, is this Mother Righteous, right? And so then Destiny reveals that Mother Righteous is concealing a secret because she can't see anything around her, right? So Hope does her thing and kind of ascertains what her mutant power is, because Mother Righteous is saying she's a mutant, okay? So at this point in the story, I was like, okay, I feel like I've seen this before. So for those of you all, have you all ever seen, do y'all remember True Blood? I want to say it's going to be like season 3 of True Blood, right? So if you recall season 3 of True Blood, or I want to say season 3, when Bill and Sookie went to Mississippi to meet with like the general of Mississippi. So they left Bon Tom's, and then the Maynard came in and wreaked all this havoc. And your whole time you're watching that season, you're like, well, this really wouldn't happen if Sookie was here. And then eventually at the end of the season, Sookie shows up and dispels us with the Maynard. You're kind of like, well, what is this season kind of about? I'm getting that same tease with this Mother Righteous like shenanigans, right? Because the only way this happens is, okay, Destiny can't see around her, Jean is dead, Logan's not there, and I feel like she's gonna pull this kind of Maynard goop kind of with the mutants, right? Because as they're leaving, she's like, oh my God, just come back with me to my home. What home is that? The Atlantic Krakoa that she stole during the Hellfire Gala, right? So if you remember, she encapsulated the Hellfire Gala and is leading them all to the Atlantic version of this, right? So Exodus is like, okay, this is all great, but remember that oases occur in the desert and the devil's in the desert, right? So then, just to skip to the ending, then we get this picture of Apocalypse with another kind of zombie-esque Wolverine and a Jean Grey and a Phoenix costume, and Apocalypse and Ghost in Flames. And we're just like, okay, what is this? Like, it's cute, but I mean, obviously we know that that's not our real Jean. We know that that's not real Logan. We know, what I'm saying? So we're like, okay, this is something that Mother Righteous is up to. So she's about to irk me really badly because, again, we know that she is a Sinister clone. So that means she's going to give you some kind of Sinister tease. We don't know what her end game is. And I don't know, I've never liked that character, right? So, I don't know, I'm into it. I was like, we'll see where this goes, but I just really feel like it's gonna give me a payoff that we're at the end of this whole thing with Mother Righteous, we're like, this wouldn't happen if Genius, if somebody formidable was in the mix, right? Not to say that Exodus and Hope are not, but they're in a very desperate situation because they're in the desert. They're trying to find someplace, they have these hordes of mutants who aren't really fighting capable, and they're, it is a desperate situation, and Mother Righteous is playing on that. Now let's go back to Charles. So Charles is on the island. The Orchid soldiers show up. He's like, oh, anti-psionics. Now his beard is all fully grown. He's giving you, whatever. Kind of like the guy from that Adult Swim, the Venture Brothers. It's kind of give you like the Venture Brothers dad kind of look or whatever like that. Anyway, so we just see gunfire, and then we see in the next panel that the Orchid's characters are dead, and Charles is like, no more. So what we kind of have seen, like from Immortal X-Men and also in X-Men 26, is that this whole concept of like not killing humans is pretty much out the door, right? So, which is kind of good because they really had no problem killing mutants, right? So again, that's pretty much the episode the issue in and of itself. It really didn't give us a whole lot. We see now Charles is really on this no more. Here's my question. Where the hell is Wanda? Right? You're talking, because Mother Righteous says, well, where have you been if you're a mutant? And she goes, well, I see how you treated the Scarlet Witch, and I'm a witch and much more scarlet, which made me think, where is Wanda, right? In the sense of Sinister, Wanda was one of the people that Sinister made sure that she was eliminated, not to thwart her plans. Where is Wanda here, right? Couldn't Wanda figure out where these mutants are? Couldn't Wanda teleport? Like, where is Wanda in this? Now, I'm not a big Scarlet Witch fan because I think she's trifling for what she did in the No More Mutants thing. But this, since the Avengers are trying to be messy and Captain Save-A-Hole in this whole situation, that would be the person who owes us a solid, right? Wanda would be the person who would be like, since you want to be Miss Motherfucker helpful, why don't you come in and help us and figure out where these mutants are? Why don't you get rid of Orchis or do something, right? So anyway, I'm just putting that aside. Drop in the comments. Do y'all know where Wanda is? Do y'all know why Wanda isn't helping? I don't know. So we'll see. So that was Immortal X-Men number 15. Again, you know, it's moving the needle, but I need to see a lot. I'm not looking for super action, but I need to see kind of like how this thing is developing, right? So we still got X-Men 26 that came out this week. I'll do a video for that, but you know, I still want to see. I just don't want it to be trauma porn, right? I just don't want to be issue by issue. You know, mutants just being massacred and everyone's ho-hum, oh, what was it going to do? And nobody's formulating with a plan. No one's coming up with a counterattack. We're not seeing any major development. So I know in this breakneck speed where everybody wants something instant, that stories take time to develop. So I'm going to give this time to develop. But I don't know, Mother Righteous, like I said, it's just giving me True Blood Season 3 tease. And I'm just kind of like, okay, whatever. But again, I can stand corrected. I am willing to be wrong, and I'm willing to go for the ride. So anyway, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this issue. Because sometimes, you know, I read every issue about 2 or 3 times before I do videos. So maybe my impressions are wrong. Like if you all thought something was different, I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to know what you guys thought. Okay? So anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.